You were seen entering the building at 7 o'clock, at which point you were heard saying, "I want to rock." Would you mind explaining to the jury what you meant by that? You know, to rock and roll, to dance. You were as yet unaccompanied by your mates, although your mother has already testified that she was anxious to let you know when they would arrive. Is that correct? I told her to let me know, yeah. Mr. John, did the words "want to get a belly full of beer" mean anything to you? Yes. Were they not the words you used upon entering the establishment? Yes, I don't dispute that. The same establishment in which hostilities were exchanged last weekend. Did you participate? No. What was the purpose of your visit? To rock and get a belly full of beer. Mr. John, were you drunk last weekend? I don't think so, no. Do you remember the weekend? No. Yes. No? Yes, which is it? Yeah, I do remember the night. I only intended to sink a little drink. One of those small cans of tonic? No, a little drink. You know, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or 4 beers. Oh, so enough to get about as oiled as a diesel train. I would imagine. The very words you were alleged to have said, Mr. John. Mr. John, I put it to you, you got plastered and then slapped someone silly. And by that I mean you started a brawl, not that you slapped someone who was silly. That would be silly. Now, for the benefit of the jury, the prosecution and defence both agree that a finding of guilt is not dependent on the level of intoxication of the accused. Indeed, the defendant cannot rely on their inebriated state to argue they lacked the intention of the crimes committed. Mr. John will instead claim that the words he uttered on that fateful evening were just lyrics to a bop-worthy, chart-topping pop song. In doing so, the defence will be asking you to consider charging Mr. John with the lesser offence of inciting handbags, a genuine crime as set out under Section 1111 of the Crimes Act 1345. However, as I will set out to you in the next few minutes, the piecemeal fashion of Mr. John's testimony of the events leading up to the early hours of Sunday will show that he was not merely inciting by reciting, but was in fact party to committing the crimes himself. Now, members of the jury, just a quick nod or shake of the head. Do you understand what the hell is going on? Mr. John, once you had consumed a bellyful of beer, the taunting began. Don't give us none of your aggravation. Do you remember saying that? Yeah, I remember singing it loudly behind a piano. Was it your song? No, it was a different one. Right. And were you singing, Mr. John, or shouting? Singing, Mr. John. Singing. We had it with your discipline. Also words you used in the pub. They were packed in pretty tight and there was a lot of pushing and shoving. Some fellow was getting a bit aggy. It was a telling off, nothing more. Saturday's all right for fighting. Get a little action in. Mr. John, do you dispute saying those words? No. Mr. John, was there not a fight last Saturday? There was, I read about it. No, you were there? Yeah, I was there. Not content with just taunting your victims, you engaged in a brawl after belting out, "Saturday is the night I like." Why did you say those words? To set the dance alight. Or to set the dance floor alight and the pub ablaze. It was dancing. It was just a dance. It was a skirmish, Mr. John, and a passionate one too, complete with switchblades and motorbikes. It was wild. I just needed a drink and then, Look, tell me, how did you go about getting what you needed? Money. No. The evidence suggests may use a bit of muscle. Yeah, I remember now. I was bartering with bivalve mollusks. We're not in Cornwall, Mr. John. This is Lincolnshire. The transcript continues. Saturday, 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 Saturday nights. All right, for fighting. It was you. Yeah. Drunk and reckless, Mr. John. What do you have to say for yourself? What's that? I'm, sorry. Tough one, isn't it? That one? Yeah. Tough one to say. Very difficult. Maybe the most difficult of them all. Seems to be.